Hi everyone. I don't know if you remember, but a little while ago I attempted to do this. It's a Nautilus pour, and I said it was one of the hardest things that I ever had to do. Well, today on The Well-Educated Artist, I am going to be attempting to do a shell-like design, really an up-close version of a shell, with bloom paint. So do you think I can do it? I don't know, but let's give it a try. Hi everyone, welcome to The Well-Educated Artist. We are jumping right in today with our paints today. These are our bloom recipe paints. We have Pebeo's Rich Iridescent Gold, and we have Golden's Quinacridone Nickel Azo Gold. That's a mouthful. And then we have, this is ColourArte's Snapdragon. For some reason it's not coming to me today and I use it all the time. And then we have the gold, which is peach gold, and that one I believe is from Meyspring. So we're just using 4 colors mainly today, and I'm working on a fairly large canvas. This one is 14 by 14, I do believe. And this lovely stuff. This is actually runoff. I call it runoff, but it's really just paint that I've scraped. And it's a nice gray color, and it doesn't look very gray probably, but you'll see how gray it is against my white canvas here. I am reusing my paint. I'm just going to pour this down for my pillow today. It should be fairly good. There's no lumps in it, so I recently did one I had to scrape, so this is going to work great for this bloom. You can see how gray it is once I pour it out. And so this is just house paint, and my paints are mixed with Jo Sonja Varnish and with Behr 8300. That's the paints I just showed you. So I'm just going to quickly get this down as my pillow. And I'll also cover my sides on this. I'm not going to show me covering my sides, but I do get all the sides on it. Now I'm going to be using brown. This is a color I don't use a lot. This is just plain old brown pour paint. So it's just mixed with Floetrol and water. And I am going for kind of a shell-like effect. So I'm starting with a spiral, and I'm probably going to regret making it a small spiral and not going around one more time, but that's okay. So this is just going to define my spiral in my painting today. And then I'm just going to lay down my colors, my very pretty blue here. It's really a blue purple. It's Snapdragon, and I use it for a lot, and I just love it. It goes really well with the brown. So I'm just following the pattern that I've laid down with my pour paint. But of course, this paint is mixed with Behr 8300 and Jo Sonja Varnish, so it's a little bit different. And I'm just going to lay down each one of my 4 paints just like this one. So I will speed that up a little bit so you don't have to sit and wait for me to go through all of my colors. Okay, so I'm just going to pop a few of the bubbles. I've recently mixed my pigments and my paints in this, so I've got a few bubbles when I go around my design. So this is just a metal skewer, and I'm popping them. And I'm going to add this wonderful pigment. It's actually a pigment. It's Abalone shell, and it's by ColourArte. It's from their Bling It line, and I absolutely love this. You'll see me use it so many times because it just adds that little bit of bling. It really does. That little bit of something special. And I'm just going around the outside of my spiral so that my shell design can have just that little bit of bling and pop that is glittery. And I use this so much because I love it. So it's definitely one to check out if you like to order from ColourArte. Now here it is, and now I'm ready to begin my swipe. This is going to be a swipe, so I am going to be using cell activator. Now, my cell activator for this one isn't really about the cells, it's more about the contrast. I need something that's darker to pull across my gray house paint, and I am using a cell activator that is Australian Floetrol based. It is actually made with Payne's Gray and Amsterdam's Bronze. Both of those are Amsterdam paints, and then they're just mixed together. Now, when I'm first putting this down, as you can see down on the bottom, I am adding a little bit of my cell activator down there, and at first I'm thinking, I'm going to put it around my spiral and drag that way, and I'm just using a palette knife to drag. And then what I find out is that that's going to be just a little bit too much brown. I really want it to be very mottled, so it doesn't have to be a perfect swipe like you normally would have to do if you are trying to drag color across your paint. I'm not trying to do that. I am trying to get more of a textural thing. So I decide that applying my cell activator to my palette knife is probably a better idea, which is what I usually do when I am doing a swipe anyway, and I am working with bloom paints. So it's kind of a weird angle for me trying to get it kind of on a diagonal. So it's kind of hard to get it started, but I do get it started, and I will also have to alternate between my smaller palette knives and my larger ones because I have several. And I'm going to switch to a little bit smaller one at this point, just so that I can kind of fill in where I didn't quite get the swipe done. This is really the first time I've tried to swipe on an intentional diagonal, because normally I'm just swiping in a circle or I am, going straight across. So it's just going to take a little bit of time to try to figure out and get my rhythm on how I'm going to do this. That's what happens when you haven't done this before. So I'm going to use these two different ones, and I am going to figure this out. So you can watch how I do this, and I will chime back in if I feel like I need to add something to it. So here is my cell activator, and here I go for my full swipe. It gets a little more complicated as it goes around the inside of the spiral. So what I do is I go from one line to the other line, and then I kind of curve it, and that kind of gives it that kind of curled effect that's inside of a shell, and it actually works out okay. It takes a lot of effort. Now I'm just going to go around the center, and I'm going to accentuate the spiral right through the brown paint and just make it look a little bit more like the center of a shell. Okay, so here is an up-close version. It's taken quite a bit of work, but I am fairly happy with it. I think I would add an extra spiral if I ever did it again, but the center is really pretty, and the blue, the little pops of blue with the brown is really nice. It's a really interesting look. And here is the dry piece. It dried exactly like it was wet. So there's a lot of movement in the piece, but there's just also something really cool, abstract center of a curled shell. Let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Thanks for watching. Until next time, bye now.